What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Show with another video, and today we're looking at another one of these squares. Today is technically not anime, but I mean they pop up in any kind of form or fashion. But today's the caption is people argue for hours that these shows count as anime. Now we're gonna talk about these particular shows. We got 6 today. We got Teen Titans, Avatar, Boondocks, Ben 10, Castlevania, and Static Shock. Now the answer to the question, are any of these anime? Technically no, but technically yes. If you don't know, anime is short for animation, but it's like a slang term we use for like Japanese animation. So it's like when they say anime, they're talking about animation from Japanese. All the same thing, really. It's all cartoons. It's just that they have a different style of animation than we do. And sometimes a lot like in these shows, they tend to lean on each other's animation. Like Teen Titans definitely has a lot of anime influence. Boondocks obviously took some anime inspiration, and I think the episode The Red Ball, something like that, the one where they playing kickball. So man, let's go talk about these shows real quick. We're gonna just do a quick one today. Now in terms of Teen Titans, you can definitely see like anime influence in there. I'm just gonna talk about the shows in general, not just how they compare to anime, because these are really the best and peak shows of all the cartoons. Teen Titans in itself, they came out with Teen Titans Go, and everybody pretty much hated it because it felt like it spit on the original. But I guess a lot of people like it now. I mean, personally, I've never really gotten into it, so I can't really say whether it's good or bad. But the original Teen Titans in itself was a masterpiece. Like, man, I loved it. It really got me into the world of DC. I think this is probably one of the first things, and besides like Justice League and shows like that, it really got me into DC. I watched pretty much every episode of this for sure. Honestly, I mean, it's so cool. You get to see kind of this team together, and then it's weird to learn that like Cyborg wasn't really a part of them before, and how different the ages are sometimes with certain like Robins and different characters in the Teen Titans. You can kind of see them ages being different. I think they made it so Beast Boy and Raven were kind of younger than Robin and stuff. It's just weird, and it just specifically takes place in this timeline, which is a weird timeline, which is in itself is self-contained. It was so fun to watch. It's one of the OGs, man. It's like, I would love to see this come back for another season. I'd love to see what they could do with the series again. Maybe bring it back just to see what they would change about it. But I think right now its place in the universe is pretty much solidified. It's not really going to change what it is. Teen Titans is goated, and that's not going to end that. Now, okay, we got Avatar now. Now, I could spend about 3 whole videos on Avatar. I think Avatar is objectively probably the best thing on this list. And it's really objective. Is really depending on what you feel like is the best, because I like absolutely everything on this list, but Avatar, I feel like it teaches you a lot of life lessons. It's super highly detailed. Like when I rewatch it, every single time I rewatch it, I watch something like different. I feel like this is a show I pick up every year, just watch randomly at some time of the year. I watch it and just kind of enjoy it. I feel like I feel like I just seen it every year. I've seen it like at least a good 10 times already, all the way through. I even might go look at like a reaction channel to see how they react to certain episodes and certain lessons and certain surprises and story plots that I kind of like the Avatar. I think it's probably the most mature out of all of them. Actually, no, that is actually not true, but we'll get to that later. The journey of Aang, Katara, and Sokka is something of legend to me. I think the whole crew of Team Avatar gets major character development. To me, it doesn't really seem like a cartoon. This is why just one of them things where they count as anime, because anime most of the time is more complex. It's not always true. It's just that Avatar has that kind of tone where it feels like it could technically be an anime. Quick synopsis if you don't know about it. It's basically Aang is the Avatar, and his mission is to restore balance, restore peace. There is a dictator that wants to basically rule everything, and it's Aang's job to basically stop him and restore balance and peace to the world. It's a very, very spiritual journey. They deal with a lot of complex lessons and stuff, like, you know, about finding yourself and you know, saying whether to take a life or not. Like, they deal with a lot of those stuff in Avatar. And I feel like that's probably why it's one of the best shows ever made. Now we're moving on to Boondocks, also another one of the best shows ever made. I think this is the one for Black culture, but it's one for culture in general. Me, man, since growing up Black, I watched this way too young. Like, And I feel like I benefited for it. I feel like this is a cartoon that you kind of use, not necessarily as a teaching tool or nothing like that, because obviously a lot of stuff in it relies on like black stereotypes and stuff. You don't want people to emulate that. But it's just funny to know this show and be young, because if you can take it the right way, you learn a lot of life lessons to not necessarily emulate the behavior that's going on and stuff, but to look at it and, you know, think about it critically. As I like the dynamic between Huey and Riley. Like, Riley's always the one that's in it. Huey's always the one that takes a step back and just kind of looks at the situation as a whole. This show, man, sad to see it kind of go downhill when it came back. And they tried to bring it back again, but obviously complications with the actors and stuff has been so long that it just wasn't possible. So as of right now, it's pretty much what we see is what we're gonna get. I always watch up to like the latest season before they came back, so I don't really taint my memory with any of the other stuff. I'm not saying it's terrible. I'm not saying it's horrible or it's bad or anything. I'm just saying, me specifically, I'm not a fan of the later half of the seasons. Boondocks is cool. It's just about these two boys that are basically living with their grandfather, well, in kind of like a suburban type area. It just kind of follows their wacky adventures. I'm not gonna lie, it's one of the best cartoons ever made. It's one of the funniest, probably the funniest on this list, absolutely the funniest on this list. And it's gonna hold that for me to being like the funniest cartoon for life. Then we got Ben 10, man. I have a very special memory of Ben 10, man. My uncle, who that was like the one thing that I kind of cherished that he bought me. You know what I'm saying? Like, we went to the mall, then we ended up getting to like the whole Ben 10 collection on season one Ben 10 collection, and you know, I got that. I still got that DVD to this day. I love Ben 10, yo. To me, it was like the coolest like action show on like that was pretty much out at that point. It was kind of cool, you know, the biologic aspect of aliens. You get to see kind of Ben growing up and coming into his own, being his own hero. It's just a cool show, honestly. I wouldn't necessarily say it's underrated or anything. I think Ben 10 is still going on right now. I don't know if they got a new series, but I've stopped watching it at this point. But I do enjoy the series, man. It's a good series. It's been a minute since I like rewatched it, but I wouldn't necessarily say that you carry away 1,000 life lessons and stuff. It's just cool to see like the alien of the week and kind of like seeing Ben fight against all these larger than life creatures and stuff, and him having this watch that has like endless possibilities. It's been cool to kind of watch his journey. Next up, we got Castlevania. I don't actually know why they chose that picture for Castlevania, because I guess unless you know the actual animation style, you're not really gonna get it, maybe. Because I mean, I guess this animation style is pretty unique. This one was actually a very surprising one, because I went into this thinking that this was going to be probably the least favorite on my list. Like, it turns out when I first started watching it on Netflix, I was like, oh, okay, this is probably not gonna be as good as I think it should be. Video game adaptations never really work out, but this one is the absolute exception. It is one of the funnest shows I've ever seen. You know, it's foul mouthed, it's very adult. That's why I said that in terms of I believe I said Avatar, forgetting that Boondocks, and this is on the list. It's definitely not the most like adult. It's not the most mature at all. Like, I mean, in terms of like rating, Castlevania is fire though. Dracula, wife get burns at the stake. Dracula takes revenge. People have to kill Dracula. That's the plot of Castlevania. I might have spoiled a little bit of like the beginning half of episode 1, but definitely go check it out if you haven't seen it yet. I know a lot of people haven't seen it. It's a really great show. It's Castlevania on Netflix. It is absolutely amazing. All seasons kind of hold up for me. The ending was a very spectacular ending, and it was definitely interesting to watch. Last but not least, man, Static Shock. Mr. Put a shot to your system, or whatever they used to call it. Man, I love the show. This is another one for black culture, but for culture in itself, because for me, this is like to me this is like the first real black superhero. So this, you know, when they say representation matters, it kind of does a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. It was kind of cool, like being young and kind of seeing like Static Shock with the, you know what I'm saying, with the black ethnic hair and the cool suit and stuff, you know, kind of fighting drug addicts, which is kind of crazy, but fighting the bang babies and stuff, you know what I'm saying? Like, just watching that show in general was great. They had a lot of black characters in it, you know what I'm saying? And it showed like characters from all walks of life. And that was cool, you know what I'm saying? You get to see that on TV. And then he even merged with like Batman shows and stuff, so he was on Batman shows. So the character Static Shock and the show Static Shock was absolutely fire. I think it's definitely unique for its time. It's influential in the fact that, you know what I'm saying, they keep trying to bring Static Shock back every year. Hopefully they can do something with a movie. He could be introduced. That'd be cool if they can do it the right way. But this show was ahead of its time. It's a great show. Now, first of all, I want to go ahead and rank these. I wasn't supposed to do this in the beginning, but I wanted to rank these and just kind of like go from bottom to top. These are all great. I love all of these shows, but they had to be ranked. And let's see. It's gonna be kind of hard for me. I'm not gonna lie. It's gonna be very hard for me. But I can go ahead and say right now, Ben 10 is probably gonna be the least. It's probably gonna be number, what's this, 6 on the list, because I love Ben 10. I think it's a great show. I just don't, with the other Titans on this list, and it's funny because Teen Titans on this list, but other like big anime shows, big animation shows on this list, I just think that I haven't seen enough Ben 10 for me to really love it over everything else. The next one's hard because it's between Static Shock and Teen Titans. I would probably go Static Shock to be the next, like to be under Teen Titans, only because I feel like Static Shock was absolutely fantastic. Both the shows are really good, but I just feel like I would go back and watch, like, I don't know. These are neck and neck for me, honestly. These are very interchangeable, but somewhere in my mind, I wanted to say Static Shock was under Teen Titans. I really love Teen Titans, man. I love Robin. I'm a really big fan of Robin. I feel like the DC superheroes I already knew, it's kind of big, and then it's like got Static Shock, who's a DC hero I didn't know at the time, and you know, his show and stuff was very cool. There were some issues that I didn't like about certain seasons and stuff, but so I guess I'll choose that next, and then next I'll obviously be Teen Titans. Now here's where it gets tricky for me. The big 3. We got Avatar, Boondocks, and Castlevania. Castlevania was really good, guys. I'm not gonna lie. I really enjoyed it. So that's why it's top 3 on this list. But it's also gonna be third. Cause I think the other 2 to me is just more of a legendary status. Like they've reached more of a status where like it's so legendary I can't put it anywhere else but where it deserves to be. Like top 2 for me. Castlevania was so good, and I think it was just such a great series and stuff. But in terms of like, would I go back and watch it every year? No, not every year. Animation, the action is cool. The action is actually fire. They animated beautifully. I think they should animate whatever new Avatar series is going to be next. But it's not only where I'm looking at. Like, I'm looking at shows I can kind of go back and watch every year. Like, shows that I would literally come back and watch every year. And that's why Boondocks is going to be number 2. I love Boondocks to death, man. Like I said, obviously Boondocks should have probably been low on this list, considering I had problems with the later halves of the seasons of Boondocks. But you know what I'm saying, like as the actual first couple seasons look, like that cut off, because I'll never go back and watch the other ones. It's a fire series. It's just a lot about life, and you just kind of have to research and study, and just notice that every time you get older, you learn something new about Boondocks you never knew. Which also leads me into Avatar. Avatar is a life lesson anime slash animation slash anything you want to call it. It was too good for Nickelodeon. It really carried Nickelodeon. To me, it's the best cartoon on Nickelodeon that has ever existed. SpongeBob was cool. All that stuff is cool. This to me was the best show that they ever made on Nickelodeon in general. I go back and watch it every year. I watch Boondocks every year. Like whenever I get bored, I might go watch a Boondocks episode. Or when I really want to sit down, just kind of watch some stuff, I'll go back and watch Avatar. Just learn some new stuff. So with that being said, guys, thanks for watching. Please subscribe, and I'll see you guys next video. スタープラチナザワやれやれだぜ